What popular movie plot hole annoys you? Santa in Christmas movies. The adults never believe in him, but within the movie he is the one who delivers all the presents. Why do the parents never seem to question where all of the presents came from? All the parents of Christmas movies are aging alcoholics who forget what presents they bought and just assume that they bought it or their significant other bought it. Why the duck do the military guys in Independence Day roll their eyes at Randy Quaid when he tells them about how anxious he is to kick some alien butt after being abducted by them? Like it's some far-fetched idea he was abducted by aliens. You mother duckers are literally fighting aliens right now. The scene in Batman Begins where they break open the water main going into the city and pour chemicals in. Water mains are not pipes with a mild flow of water going through, they are under extreme pressure. Breaking into a water main like this would result in an instant and uncontrollable blast of water to the room. Also, the fear gas only works when it's vaporized by heating the water. Fortunately, nobody took a hot shower or boiled an egg before the bad guys were ready. In Gremlins, you aren't supposed to feed them after midnight. But when can you start feeding them again? It's never clarified. And it's technically always after midnight. The Last Jedi when Finn is driving as fast as he can towards the big cannon during the last battle. An act that would have cost his life. Rose turns back to the base. Then changes her mind and loops back all the way around to knock Finn out of the way. If Finn is driving as fast as possible, then how does Rose turn around twice and loop all the way around and still catch up to him? In a universe full of almost sentient and incredibly capable robots, why, in the name of all things holy, would you not destroy an escape pod because there's no life forms aboard? Family Guy said it best. Because the plans may be aboard. And the only way to verify that would be by seeking confirmation after it landed. If they blew it up, then they wouldn't know whether or not they'd prevented the plans from reaching the rebellion. In so many movies when there is some huge problem because of a simple misunderstanding, the entire plot of so many movies would be completely unraveled by a brief explanation. Susan, I wasn't cheating on you. I was performing CPR on a dying person. As someone who's read the books, I can imagine that the mirror in Harry Potter is a massive plot hole for people who haven't read the books. He gets given it in Order of the Phoenix by Sirius. And it's part of a pair. They are two-way so that they can still communicate whilst Harry is at Hogwarts. But it's not explained in the films at all. He just suddenly has it in the Deathly Hallows. One of the biggest, most glaring plot holes in the movies is that they never truly explain exactly who Mooney, Wormtail, Padfoot, and Prongs are. They sort of touch on it in Poe, but after that it's dropped. My friend, who is a non-book reader, had no clue that Harry's father was Prongs. Edit, I get it, I ducked up. It's not a plot hole. Thank you. Independence Day, human programming language. Alien computer. Apparently they run the same OS. Has Microsoft gone celestial? Edit, now I get why the director producers left this like it is. Folks don't understand machines that go ping. I still enjoyed the movie though. I am out of this conversation. Apple. Actually, it's kinda explained, well, more like an as-pull, in a deleted scene, where they say that computers were reverse engineered from alien technology. Fast and Furious 6. In the final scene where they are chasing a plane on a runway is about 15 minutes long. Is the runway 30 miles long? The math has been done on that somewhere. It'd have to be something like 26 miles long based on the takeoff speed of the plane and time passed in the scene. Lucky for them they brought it down right at the end of the runway. Edit. 28.75 miles apparently. Day after tomorrow. Matey walks from Washington to New York in about 3 days in conditions that are killing people wrapped up in houses. Or something. It doesn't make any sense anyway, then again not much does in that movie. A library's timber doors also manages to stop a tsunami that has knocked down skyscrapers too. In Star Wars The Phantom Menace you see Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon use Force speed at the beginning of the movie to escape Droidicus. But later in the movie when Obi-Wan is trying to catch up to the duel between Darth Maul and Qui-Gon, he doesn't use his force speed at all. I won't say any more for the sake of spoilers, but there's no reason he shouldn't have just used force speed to catch up. Edit. Yes, I know the movie is 2 decades old. I probably didn't need a spoiler warning, but I just like to be careful. That's not even the point of the post. One of the things that annoys me is when TV shows and movies require blood and people cut the palm of their hand. Have you ever had a cut on the palm of your hand? It's a terrible place for a cut because your hand is practically useless while you wait for it to heal. Despite this, many movies and shows like Supernatural have the heroes that cut their hand getting into fights with no problem and are immediately better a day later when a cut like that would take probably a week to heal and likely need stitches. I always hate when a character gets brutally beat up and there's no bruising in the following scene. I understand why they don't want to apply makeup and everything, but it's so annoying. The character was about dead and then he's completely fine the next day. When Tom Cruise's son runs over the hill unarmed into a massive bombing battle in War of the Worlds and winds up in Boston unscathed days later. Why would you train miners to be astronauts instead of astronauts to be miners? I heard Ben Affleck asked Michael Bay the same question, and Bay's responded by telling him to shut up. Disney's Princess and the Frog. Tiana kisses Naveen and because she's not a princess, she turns into a frog. Later in the movie, Charlotte kisses Naveen and she's not a princess either, yet she stays the same. What the crap, Disney? In The Dark Knight, when the city of Gotham is hours away from being destroyed, Batman finds the time to make a painting of the bat signal on a bridge out of gasoline that Commissioner Gordon lights up. That would have taken hours to do. When and why did he do that? Toy Story. If Buzz thinks he's a real space ranger, then why did he know to freeze when Andy entered the room? This isn't a beach. This is a bathtub. No one would say this. They would obviously realize that they are at a beach and just go with the flow. The Dark Knight. A school bus drives out of a busted hole in the bank and just blends in with a line of other school buses on a busy city street. What was the point of the whole plot of Goblet of Fire? Apparently, there was a big scheme to get Harry entered into the Tree Wizard tournament and advance to the final round so he would touch the trophy and get portkeyed to the graveyard where they could resurrect Voldemort. But they've got a guy on the inside who managed to outsmart, kidnap, and impersonate the best aura in the business while remaining undetected by some of the most powerful wizards in the world. There had to be a more direct way to handle it. Why not just turn Harry's toothbrush into a portkey? Surely that would have been easier than sneaking his name into the cup and rigging the competition every step of the way. Wouldn't it? Signs. The aliens have the technology to travel an unimaginable distance, yet they don't prepare for Earth. The aliens are burned by water like a high-strength acid, yet wear nothing protective. The aliens landed on Earth are death row inmates. They were sent to Earth as a death sentence. Not sure if it's a popular movie, but Final Destination 3. The roller coaster one. In the vision, the straw that breaks the camel's back is the video camera. It falls onto the track, causes the hydraulics to break and the roller coaster to crash. However, the guy with the video camera gets off the ride when the girl freaks out, taking his video camera with him. With no video camera, the ride should just carry on as it has been and everyone should be safe. But no. Somehow the damn thing crashes anyway. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. When they drive that ship through Snoke's mothership, it opened up the question, why didn't they just do that with the Death Stars? I think the bigger plot hole is, why does the Empire keep getting stronger despite all their shit getting wrecked? After 2 Death Stars and a giant Death Star planet jet blown up, they rock up with the biggest ship ever. Which plot hole did you pull that out of? And who the duck was Snoke? Why Ross, the largest friend, doesn't simply eat the other friends? This is for both the book and the movie, and it is completely possible that I've just misunderstood something. But in Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Harry and Dumbledore are in the cave and Dumbledore has to drink the potion in the goblet that makes thirsty and delirious. Harry tries to fill the cup, but it is charmed to not refill through the spell. That the only way to fill it is by dipping it into the lake of Inthry. What I don't understand is why Harry didn't just do the Aguamenti spell directly into Dumbledore's mouth. Or into his own hand. Or anywhere other than the charmed goblet. I guess it isn't a huge plot hole, but a lot could have been avoided in their favor. Not a movie, but it's always bothered me that Monica loses her dream wedding dress in return for Chandler getting his wish to have the Swing Kings as their wedding band. Yet it is 100% not the Swing Kings playing at their wedding. Die Hard 2. The idea that you can have planes circling Dulles for over an hour that don't have enough fuel to reach another airport. National is 40 ducking miles away. Empire Strikes Back. How long was Luke training with Yoda while the others were on the Falcon? Because it seemed like the Hoth to Bespin trip was only a few days at most. But when Luke decides to leave to save them, his training is almost done. Edit. Got the name of a planet wrong. In the movie We're the Millers. The main plot of the movie involves a weed dealer from Colorado trafficking weed from Mexico to Colorado. Colorado legalized weed in 2012. The movie was released in 2013. No one in Colorado would be buying brick weed from Mexico. How the hell did Batman survive the fall from his penthouse in The Dark Knight? He caught Rachel and then fell straight down. The bigger problem in this scene is that Joker and his goons just left. How? When? They didn't hurt anyone? Nobody called the police? Batman just laid low in front of the building and let them sneak out? GoldenEye. Trevelyan steals money from the Bank of England only to enter the UK and cause what Bond calls a worldwide financial meltdown, which would render what Trevelyan just stole worthless. Not a movie, but in the In-Betweeners there's an episode where the lads go to the pub. Jay has a fake ID, so succeeds in buying a pint of lager when the others are refused. Will then starts quoting the law saying that if over 16, accompanied by an adult and having food, it's legal to drink a pint of cider. So they duly ask a random adult to buy 3 meals and 3 pints of cider for them, and he extorts them to the tune of 4 double rum and cokes. Hilarious, right? Wrong. Just get Jay to buy the meals and ciders, as his fake ID has already successfully fooled the barman, you dumb hunts. Back to the Future 2. When Biff goes back in time to give himself the Alamac, he changes the future at that very moment. Yet he returns to the same future where Doc and Marty are originally. He should have gone to a different future where he was rich. Edit. Spelling. The end of Forrest Gump. Him and his son probably have AIDS. It depends on when she got it and what her viral load was, but also the risks of getting HIV through unprotected sex is much lower than most people think it is. Now, sex as the receptive partner with somebody with a high viral load is the most high-risk sexual behavior for HIV infection, but it only has about a 1.7% or possibly lower chance of infection. Jurassic Park. The giant cliff that the Jeep falls off of when the T-Rex pushes over the edge is the same opening that the T-Rex came out of. Meaning that either a giant cliff appeared after the T-Rex broke through, or the T-Rex somehow climbed that cliff. So some guy sneaks into the Gotham Stock Exchange and performs a bunch of illegal trades. So now Bruce Wayne is broke. So of course that means they should turn off his power the same day. Batman has all these wild gadgets. A vehicle that is built like a ducking tank. Military technology. Etc. And no one suspects it to be the richest guy in the city? Yeah, but Batman played his Bruce Wayne persona as the conceited rich asshole who didn't give a duck. It'd be like Washington DC having a superhero and no one figured out it was Donald Trump. Just a minor thing in Captain America Civil War that has bothers me and I haven't ever seen anyone mention. Cap and Bucky take off from the airport in a Quinjet headed for Siberia from Germany. Tony is left to presumably await emergency medical assistance for Rhodes. The rest of Cap's squad is arrested instead of escaping. Processed and sent to the raft. Meanwhile, Iron Man goes to the hospital with Rhodes and has a chat with Vision and Black Widow. Tony then travels to the raft prison and talks to the captured members of Cap's team. Sam reveals that Cap and Bucky are heading to Siberia. Tony decides to help and takes off. and arrives like 10 minutes after Cap somehow. In Back to the Future, Marty returns to a timeline where there was a 17-year-old Fortune Marty who grew up in a loving, functional household with capable parents and had his whole life ahead of him. Unfortunate Marty did not merge with Fortunate Marty. He drove up in car. Fortunate Marty didn't go anywhere. The logical extension of BTTF rules holds that Fortunate Marty slowly faded away from his bed into the oblivion of non-existence the moment Unfortunate Marty drove into his timeline. Maybe he was awake and watched it happen. Horrified. Then he broke in, slept in Fortunate Marty's bed, impersonated him in front of a family he'd never met, and presumably had sex with Jennifer, who had never actually met him before that day. So basically, if your life is going great, you might, with no way to prevent it and no warning, get utterly wiped out of existence and replaced by a copy from a shitty timeline who takes over your life. And everyone cheers because he's the underdog. You don't just have to worry about your shitty past coming back to haunt you, you have to worry about alternate versions of you with a shitty past you know nothing about jumping in, dissolving your body, and stealing your entire life.